Hello and welcome to my little cozy corner of the world, Katie's Cozy Corner. Come on in. I'm in my office and I'm sitting in my comfy chair. My husband bought this beautiful lamp for me for my office when we moved into our home last summer. I don't have it on right now, but it's pretty enough if you can see the colors. Wanted to talk today about the shield of armor that maybe you know you're wearing, you knew you wore in the past, or maybe you don't even know that you're wearing it. I've been a pediatric nurse for 25 years, and I went through my deepest burnout and depression about 12 years ago or so, around 2013. And it wasn't just a day or a year, it was a couple of years of going through feeling anxious, overwhelmed, sad, depressed, burnt out. But most people didn't know that I was feeling that way. Actually, one of my coworkers that I worked alongside in the pediatric emergency room, when I started talking about the time that I went through my deepest burnout and depression, she looked at me and said, I never even knew. And we worked side by side in a pediatric emergency room, 12-hour shifts for many years together. I know now that it's because I built up an amazingly strong shield of armor to protect me from the sadness getting in. Now, maybe you're a nurse as well, healthcare provider, caretaker. Maybe you're not, but maybe you've also felt like this, because what I have found also in speaking over the past couple of years on burnout and stress management, whether you're a caregiver or not, that many people have found themselves in these situations in life. And so I was saying at the time that I was going through the deepest burnout of my career. I said I was burnt out being a nurse. But what I know now is that I was actually burnt out in my life, but I masked it by just saying that I was burnt out as a nurse because that was the easy way out, right? I work 12-hour shifts. I work in a pediatric emergency room. It's really stressful. I'm just burnt out. So in building the shield of armor, I don't think that we realize that we're doing it, and we start putting on piece by piece. At first, it's very light. We don't even know what's happening, but we want to protect ourselves from the bad getting in, right? Maybe what we see, hear, smell at work. And so we start building this shield of armor, especially as nurses, healthcare providers, caregivers. We have to be the strong one in the situations that are the most stressful. So we have to build some sort of shield of armor. The problem is that eventually the shield of armor that I built was so strong and solid. You know, if you can picture like superheroes or He-Man, wearing, or She-Woman wearing a shield of armor, it protects you, right? You feel like it's almost bulletproof. And the thing is, it does prevent some of the bad from getting in, but it also prevents the good from getting in. So on one hand, I felt like I was doing myself a favor, that I was protecting my heart from bad stuff getting in because I was already feeling at such a low in my life. But I didn't realize that it was also protecting the good from getting in. And what does that end up feeling like? You feel hollow on the inside because nothing is getting in. And what that looked like for me was living almost a robotic lifestyle. Wake up in the morning, have my routine, go to work, whatever that was for my work routine, 12-hour shifts. And on my days off, it was a very similar robotic routine. I was a single woman living at the time in my one-bedroom apartment when I was going through this deepest burnout and depression. And my days off were just as structured and routine as my days that I worked. Now, believe me, I love a routine. I do my morning routine right here in my office. I'll save that for another video. And I love structure. I think we all kind of crave structure in some way. But this structure and routine was so rigid that I didn't allow any wiggle room. And I think now, looking back, that I didn't want anything different to happen because I was pretty much holding on by a thread. I was so depressed and overwhelmed and anxious in my life that one little thing could throw me off. And so I needed to keep everything extremely tight and rigid. I wouldn't allow like a spontaneous lunch or a spontaneous vacation. I mean, are you kidding me, right? I mean, everything was down to the T. I didn't realize it at the time. It was a protective mechanism. It's all I knew to do to help me get through the day to day. I knew I was anxious at work. I knew I was overwhelmed at work. I knew that I wasn't happy at work, but I also knew that I wasn't happy in my life. But how could I say that to people? Because here I was a healthy, younger woman at the time. I had an amazing career, amazing family and friends. I was physically active. I was actually in the best shape of my life during that time. But it's interesting because we are a mind, a body, and a spirit. So my physical body was in top A shape, but my mental, spiritual, emotional body was in the gutter. So how do those two live together, right? So this is one of my primary reasons that I became a life coach and that I help women. A lot of them are nurses or caregivers. I also help teachers, moms. I am not a mom myself, so I can't speak to being a mom, but I can speak to taking care of people. And so my clients over the years have been moms, nurses, doctors, caregivers, teachers, because I think at the end of the day, we all know what it's like to take care of people and give of ourselves 100% and maybe leaving ourselves last and empty. And it was one particular day working in the peds emergency room where I had a situation with a patient, which that flipped the switch to lead me on my healing journey. Nothing changed overnight. It didn't even change over a week or a month. It actually took months for me to take myself out of that physical situation. But it took years to realize that the burnout and overwhelm and depression I was feeling wasn't necessarily just my job. Sure, there were parts of it, but it was in my life. And so now I help women learn how to build sustainable self-care routines that fill themselves up first so that they can continue to pour into others. And by filling up your cup first, physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, you are then able to help others. Helping others is a byproduct of you having your tank full. One of the ways I do that is with my morning routine, which I said I will make another video on that one day for you. But I just want to come on and share part of my origin story with you, why I started life coaching, why I'm really diving into my YouTube channel. I do a lot on social media, on Instagram and Facebook with my life coaching and motivation and inspiration. I also have my personal training certification because I do love physical movement, and working out is one of the ways I keep my cup full. But I want to jump on here and just share with you why I'm doing this. I would love to welcome you into my community. Hit subscribe, comment below, let me know your thoughts, feelings, and I really look forward to building this community on YouTube with this channel because this is my purpose and my passion in life. I feel it deep in my bones. And like I always say, and maybe this is the first time you're hearing it, we have this one beautiful life that we've been gifted. One. So why aren't we running like crazy towards our wildest hopes and dreams and goals? Stay tuned for next time. Thanks for being here. And wherever you are in the world, I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, or night. Bye-bye.